achieve success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Then celebrate it with or without champagne.
Yay! Yeah, this is my first one back in this new year. I think so. Welcome. Just looking at my LinkedIn screen to see if this event has gone live. It says starting soon. I don't know why it's doing that. Does that mean that we had a glitch yesterday where LinkedIn wasn't talking to StreamYard, which is really upsetting. I don't know, it looks like the same thing's happening again, right? Nikki, can you see the event on LinkedIn? Let me refresh my screen because there's normally a delay between real time and when it goes live on LinkedIn. Is it live on my YouTube? I think so. Let's have a look. Okay, LinkedIn, do something. Yay, I'm live on LinkedIn. There you go. I can see myself. Nothing better than when you can see yourself. Maybe this. No, when I can see you is better, my friends. I tell you that for nothing. I'm always weirded out by seeing myself too often. But you have to get used to it, right? How are you? Happy New Year, my friends. Happy New Year to you. But you have to get used to it, right? It's great to be here again. Another year of it's not another year of. I think this is a year of something different. This is a year of growth. So I'm amazed. Am I amazed? Yeah, I'm amazed. If you have my friends have suddenly realized our reality. Yes, I'm glad you can see me, Nick. I'm glad you hear me as well. See, our reality, my friends, is that many people are talking. They're talking, they are wishing, they're hoping, maybe they're even praying, but they don't do, so nothing changes. And so it seems like I'm not the only one on a mission to transform lives, right? So we must do better this year than last year, whatever that means to you, right? We must aim to achieve more. That just means that we have to serve more, right? That's I think that's the main thing for me. We have to serve more people. Maybe we have to have bigger ideas too. We have to be in the right places, doing the right things to build that credibility and trust. So there's many things that we need to do. I think everyone I speak to, everyone I DM, if I haven't DM'd you this side of New Year, then maybe you wouldn't have seen my mantra. My mantra is simply, let's go big, let's go bigger, let's go big, right? Let's take the year by storm. Again, that means something to each of us. That means something different to each of us, right? Let's do what it takes to move beyond just talking, to really transform our lives. And see, the way I say it is this. I tend to say everyone's got big plans for the year. Now, me included, right? But I know one thing for sure. If I do what I've always done, which is simply to talk about it, and then before you know it, January is gone, February is gone, March is maybe started or nearly gone. Now we've lost Q1. Now it's summer, right? And then when summer comes, we're thinking, oh, I haven't started yet. I'm not going to get it done this year. Well, maybe I get it done by Christmas, but I'm not really committed to it. So nothing happens. My point, my friends, is if you're going to get it done now, right? At least start talking about it. At least start putting the plans in place to make it happen. Now is our time. So and if I truly believe the things we don't talk about before February is out aren't going to happen this year. It's not going to happen, right? We need to make sure that if we really want to get it done, let's start now and let's get it done. Let's put the plans in place and let's go with more oomph, more gusto, more intention to actually get it done. Otherwise, it's not going to get done. And we can't have a year last year, right? We must do better. We must. I'm getting DMs. My friends are DMing me on my WhatsApp. Let me not focus there. Let me focus on you as my friend. Okay, let me come back to StreamYard. I can see people in the audience. Let me welcome you properly. Mr. Joseph, how are you doing? Great to see you. How's your year started? Glad you're here. Of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts, my friend. I have put the link in the comments. Natalie, Nikki, I've sent you the link to your DMs. So I hope that you would join and come and share with us for sure. So how are you doing that? Excuse my tardiness. Don't worry. Yeah, connectivity challenges. It's always an issue, right? Always, for all of us. So it's LinkedIn. It played up yesterday. Well, it seems like we're here today, so I can't really be upset. But welcome, Nat. How are you? I missed your call today. I will call you back later, or hopefully you'll call me back. Nikki was here before everyone. Nikki was here a long, long time ago, right? And she messaged me. I never know whether the messages we get, whether my response before we go live, it shows up on the event, on the comments section. Maybe it does. I hope it does. But say, I'm getting more notifications that we are, alive everywhere. We're actually live everywhere, right? So I can see there's more people here. There's more people on YouTube. More people also here on LinkedIn. My friends, if you're here, drop us a comment because I wouldn't know you were here otherwise. I have no problem with people who sit there quietly and watch, but I'd much rather be able to welcome you and thank you for being here. What's Christina? Okay, right. Yeah, okay. So Mr. Christina. I don't know anyone else. Okay. Anyway, so I'm hoping you can listen to me waffle on for an hour, or you can basically join the studio, add to the conversation, and it's much brighter when there's more of us talking. But I never know what's going to happen when I do these events, right? I never know who's going to join. I never know what they're going to come and say. That's the excitement for me. But still, right. So let's go back to our theme. So our theme, our motto, our plan for the year. Then I said we have to plan to do more. We have to plan to serve more. We have to plan to go bigger, go harder. That's the only way that we're going to move ourselves materially forward. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to go bigger, to go more, and to do more, serve more, think better, think bigger? It's an idea, right? And it's whatever we choose to make it happen. So but I think first of all, we have to work out what that means for us. Is it a thing or is it just an idea? Are we willing to commit to making our life different this year? Are we just happy with the status quo and carrying on as normal? So I don't think anyone's going to be happy with the status quo. No, and I guess if you maybe you are. If you think you are, share with me why you are so content. Maybe you've achieved greatness that we'll talk about. Maybe greatness is not even your thing, right? And I suppose if you found your purpose, if you found your mission and you are doing that mission, good on you. But come and share with us. You see, along our journey to achieve more, my friends. We need to do things. If we need to do new things, we need to do different things, especially those things that are working. Or we need to stop doing things. And we need to change how we do things because they're not working. We say we can only learn from each other, right? And we can only learn from each other what is working, what's not working. What can we do differently? What can we do better? And that's what I want to discuss today. So I do want to know, from your experiences, from your 2025, maybe from the way the year started. What is really different? What can we learn from you? What have you learned that's working? You see, when I set our topic for today, I thought some people are gonna think, "Oh, I don't want to share because they might steal my idea." Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Because your idea and the way you implement it that's your thing. That's something you own. Whereas sharing enables more people to benefit from the strategy. Let's give you an example. Let's say you've learned something about how LinkedIn works, something that works on LinkedIn. Let's say now they talk about this. Is it Brew 360? So is that working for you? Of course, that's almost learning. That's almost a reset for how LinkedIn works. And so it does make me wonder. For my African brothers and sisters, we've done well. Look, we've stormed LinkedIn. We're in 2025. We definitely stormed LinkedIn. I remember the Social Saturday hashtag Social Saturday, where Nigerians will flood onto LinkedIn. And I guess nominate themselves, connect with themselves, and that way they build the network. I don't see that as much these days. And I'm not surprised. See, did that sort of thing work for you? If it did, why are we not doing it as much? I can tell you why we're not doing it as much. I can know the simple answer to that, right? The simple answer is that I imagine LinkedIn hates things like that. LinkedIn is based on a set of values, a set of principles. Essentially, you connect with those you know. Whereas something like Social Saturday, that was encouraging and facilitating random connections just to build your numbers. That's pretty much against what LinkedIn has in mind. LinkedIn wants real friends to be friends. They want real friends to connect, to talk to each other. They want real friends to engage. Whereas when you pull stunts, like Social Saturday, LinkedIn normally takes offense, and they normally block your account. So that I can imagine why some people decided not to carry on doing that. Simi, I see you. Great picture. How you doing? Glad you're here. I don't know who LinkedIn user is. That always frustrates. If you're a LinkedIn user, so do put your name somewhere after your comment, before your comments. At least I know it's you. Could I find out who LinkedIn user is on my LinkedIn? Oh, I can. I'm sure no, I can't. I thought I could. But so my LinkedIn commenting has suddenly come to. Well, I can see where it is stuck. Let's call it that. Anyway, look, I think this Brew 360 on LinkedIn, which would change how we do what we do. I think my understanding is that the focus is now on relevance and engagement that comes from relevance. In other words, LinkedIn is prioritizing people you know and people who resonate with your topic. They're the ones who are going to see your content going forward. Annie, my sister Annie, how are you? How are you, Annie? Happy New Year. I'll say it again if I haven't said it already, but I'm glad you're here. And you're working too hard, Annie. Calm down, calm down, calm down. You just need to relax a bit. All right. Like I say again, if you want to join the studio, you're welcome to come and join. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. So going back to this Brew 360 LinkedIn new model. I guess there's much that has changed, but deep down, I don't know. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's really changed. I don't know if anything's changed really. A lot's changed because, you know, 3 people are not gonna 360 Brew, right? People are gonna see your posts randomly. In other words, I think I said it yesterday at one of my events. LinkedIn is essentially becoming like Facebook, Meta, you might call it, right? It is basically finding algorithms that will determine what you see more intentionally. See, for a long time, LinkedIn was pretty generous, kind. Now, Facebook went to pay to play years ago. Pay to play simply means that if you don't pay, people aren't going to see your content on Facebook. And that's always been the curse, right? You don't do Facebook ads, then your content's going to be stuck. You'd be lucky if you got 2% visibility for your content to your connections. I say if you apply that, it's essentially if 2 people out of 100 of your connections see your post on Facebook, you've done well. If you want more than 2 people in your, two people per 100 in your connections to see your posts, then you have to advertise the post. So LinkedIn's pretty much gone the same way now. Yes, they talk about many things. They talk about they want you to be very clear about your expertise. They want you to be very clear about your professional values, about what you do. They want you to be consistent. They want you to say the same thing across the platform. Don't say one thing in your tagline and then have something different in your experiences section, for example. That'll give people more clarity, and also means that they can then show your profile to people who are more relevant, right? If you create content, make sure it's relevant to your industry, make sure it's relevant to your topic. So of course, days gone by, we could use hashtags to signal to the algorithms, the topic. Basically, we could cheat. We could have what we call engagement pods. A group of people who will engage with the content, whatever it is, whatever junk it is. They go there, they put some emojis on. So their network gets to see your content, and so we go. You see, but LinkedIn is a lot more. It's they want to be a lot more intentional now. They want only people who will benefit from your content to see your content. What does it mean? This means that we just have less. We have less visibility. A good thing, yes. Yes. Do you look at posts? Are you a post magnet, so to speak? Miss Yolanda, how you doing? My next author off the treadmill. The treadmill. The conveyor belt. That's the word I'm looking for. How you doing, Miss Yolanda? Glad you're here. So her book is coming. I don't know. I can't even call it your book, Yolanda, because you know why. Anyway, it is your book, though. I'm trying to get my head around how we're gonna do anything with that, right? I don't know. So, thoughts, Yolanda. I have to think bigger, right? Think differently, honestly. Annie says, I already know my purpose and I set goals to achieve them. and I have, which I've met besides gaining more qualifications, knowledge, skills, experience, but also as a leader, mentor, training others. This year, I've been promoted to senior after 6 years of doing my job. Well done, Annie. Congratulations. But now I'm going out of my comfort zone and going into teaching those with special needs. Go, girl. That's hard work. So I've worked with children with special needs, and I did advocacy for kids in social care, which includes children with disabilities. It's educating them. Yeah. Are you doing that in a special education's unit, or are you doing it in a mainstream setting? Yeah, so well done you. I think to achieve your goals, you have to go out to your comfort zone, which I'm doing. I agree. Okay, so let me go there. I think, I've said it many times already, so we need to think differently. We need to think bigger. We need to think, you know, I think more than just thinking, Annie, like you proved, we can think, know what's right for us mentally, know what's right for us, full stop, and still not do it, right? I said, but real change, my African brothers and sisters, especially, comes from doing. I've seen some of my brothers and sisters with so many great ideas, but they have a problem doing. They have a problem doing. I am baffled. If we don't do, how's anything going to change? Maybe we can manifest a different reality. I doubt it. I'm just saying. If you want more customers, you have to get up and go and get more customers. If you want more business, you're gonna have to learn to do what attracts customers, what brings business to you, right? So we're gonna, and like Annie just proved, we need to start doing. Doing is the key this year. Make this a year that you say to yourself, if I think I can, which you should, then do it. Just do it, right? A friend of mine a couple of days ago, she's talking late at night, so I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And she's like, "Oh, I prayed and I asked God, what's next for me?" I'm like, that's brave, because when you go asking God for things, sometimes God gives you something, and yet I think we have to be very mindful when God gives us that thing, that purpose Annie just talked about, right? Anyway, this friend of mine, so she's like, I prayed and I don't know what the response is. I'm saying, what's the answer? God must have said something back to you, whether it's through your meditation, through your prayer, or through a sign, through something you see. And she goes, oh, then I saw an email in my inbox I didn't see for months, from December, basically. And the email is offering me a scholarship to become a trauma specialist. I'm like, was that God's answer to you? Are you going to do it? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, damn. So now you're going to argue with God. Now you're going to have a conversation with God and say, you know what? I know what you gave me, the opportunity to get a free scholarship, to get trained as a trauma specialist. But I'm not going to do it. Don't be that person. Don't be that person, my friends. Don't be that person. If God gives you a purpose, go and start doing it. This is a thing for most Africans, whether you're in Africa or in the diaspora. The world needs your solutions. Did I say this in 2025? I probably did. But this is a year we must do it differently, please, for your sake, for my sake, for the world's sake, for yours, maybe for your sake the most, because what are you going to say end of the year? I had the opportunity, but once again, I dwelt on it. I procrastinated. I thought about it. I didn't want to risk Right. Don't be that person, right? If you ask God for something and God gives you the thing that's yours, it's because you can do it. It's a belief thing, of course. So you can do it. That's you're given. We're all given our special tasks, our purpose, because God knows that we can execute them. This is a year that you believe so hard. Sometimes I call it delusional. Be delusional when you're thinking. Truly believe this will work. This is my thing. This is my time. This is my mission. I must make it happen. Don't sit there and think, oh, what if I fail? Oh. I can't afford it. You can afford it. Again, this is a whole different conversation. This is another part of my conversation today. You see, right. See, I've always wondered, it's not I've always wondered, I've always had the thought that if no one's on stage, could I talk for an hour? I could. I really could. I'm gonna do it today, right? I'm gonna amaze. I'm gonna just talk from the heart. I've got no notes at all because normally I rely on my speakers to bring the conversation. Right? Someone might join the stage. You never know. But so otherwise, I would just share my thoughts with you today, and hopefully, you can share your thoughts in the comments, right? So can I talk for an hour? Yes, I can. Watch. Hopefully you'll be entertained as I talk to you, at you, with you. Which one is it? It's all three, right? Anyway, look. So this has to be our time to truly believe that we can and that we will. My motto now, because this is what's worked for me. That's all I can share with you. I can share with you what's worked for me. I can share with you what's not worked for me. Want to come and share yours, come in the studio, right? I'll put it in the comments. I happily take it. But our blind faith in ourselves, it's not that much. The angle I was going to go down is this. We have these conversations these days, and I'm just like, no, you're talking rubbish. Stop talking, please. They keep talking. Anyway, my friends, I love you, but sometimes we just have to disagree. So the thing that jars me these days is these people saying, "Oh, but your environment." I'm like, your environment what? Oh, if you're not in the right environment, then you can't do it. Rubbish. Total rubbish. Really. All our environments are different. Am I saying that you can't achieve more if you've got £1 million in the bank? Maybe you can't. We can have an argument about what does achieve really mean? Achieve means serving people to me. If you serve people, you make money, right? But if you've got £1 million in the bank already and you haven't served anyone, then what says you're going to start serving people now? Nothing. Right? It is about you serving people. Aim to serve more. That's what we must do. Oh, Sineda. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. If I have, please let me know. If I haven't, then please help me, right? Sineda says, it must say it takes courage to normalize kindness. I mean, humor doesn't eliminate stressors, but helps reposition individuals in relation to them. Yeah, I think kindness is truly one of the qualities that will move us forward in every which way. You see, a lot of people come to LinkedIn and they want what they want. It's like a cyclical conversation I have with myself in my head. But I'm very clear, right? And a lot of people come to LinkedIn. They want business. They want clients. They want more money, really, right? And they miss the fact that to make money, to build a business, to grow your business, you're gonna need to be the type of person who people want to buy from, want to do business with, want to partner with, collaborate with. That means building trust and building your credibility. You see, again, I learned from last year that kindness is key. Look, if you look around you, many of the successful people, many of them, they have kindness in the soul. I say that, of course, a similar word I could use to describe kindness is that thing about authenticity. Now, let's leave the authentic. I don't hate the word. I think people misunderstand what it means to be authentic. Don't come here begging. Don't come here hoping that people are going to give you because you tell a sad story. I'm saying, to be your real self, your authentic self, it means first of all be kind. Care about other people. Care about the people you're here to serve. Now, create a business this year that is based on truly loving, and loving a bit more, right? Love your clients. Love what you do. Love how you do it. That's why I said loving, and loving a bit more, right? If you, of course, and all of love yourself, right? Truly love yourself. Nat, you've come to save me. Natalie got bored of hearing me talk to myself, right? How you doing?
Really?
How you doing, Nat? You heard me talking. You're like, I don't need to listen to any anymore.
Oh, bless you. No, I the tech issues, and I was sending invites to everybody. So sorry it took so long.
No, there's a lot of people here, so it's I have no problem with the numbers, and look, I think also that in this day and age, I think one thing that we have to come to terms with is that we don't want to talk to everyone. We can't afford to talk to everyone, because when you talk to everyone, you talk to no one, right? So be choosy who you talk to, be choosy who you invite to your events. I'm not saying don't invite people, because I did, but I'm saying those who turn up are the ones that are meant to be. You don't need 100 people in your room to make it work. You need you and one person, really. If that person takes action, I'll be as happy as can be, right? So say if someone lives here and says, I'm going to do something different,
I agree.
that's life. What is
I agree. We do need some more Africans in here to share their experiences, though, really.
I agree. No, I agree with that for sure. But look, say, and I'm trying to be more intentional about who I invite. So, let's see how we are as time goes on, right? I said there's numbers on YouTube, there's numbers on LinkedIn, and it's not a bad number. We'll grow this medium as the year goes on. Anyway, how are you, my friend? How are you? How are you doing? You called me earlier, right?
Oh yeah, that was just business. We can catch up with that later. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm still battling health stuff and working on operational bits in the background. Yeah, I'm doing okay, Annie. How are you?
No, I'm good. I'm good. So I'm busy, but I'm just trying to get things done one at a time. So I got 3 books on the go. Yolanda's been one of them. Actually, I would love to finish that in a couple of days. I could. I got other books that are calling for my time as well. And I got this conference to organize for end of Feb, the Author Speakers Conference. No, bit by bit, Nat. That's all I can do, right? Bit by bit. Look, so let's talk now. So what has worked for you? What is working for you in terms of achieving your business goals, in terms of achieving your happiness and achieving success?
I'm finding for me, because I have 2 small solo operated service businesses that are circular economy, so they're not quite for profit, they're not quite not for profit. Streamlining is key. As you mentioned previously, Annie, you need to trim the excess, because that costs more, and takes up more time. And I'm noticing that Africans across the world are actually benefiting from looking into sustainability within their personal lives and their business. And a lot of us are aligning our personal lives and our business lives so that we can be more sustainable, because the gold that people are searching for, that's at the end of the sustainability tunnel. There's a lot of funding out there currently for businesses that are doing their best to be sustainable, to buy local, for instance. You can get tax breaks from a lot of governments around the world if you buy local. So, your office stationery, say, go to your local dealership. Don't go online to buy it, because you get a lot more savings if you invest in where you live, basically, or where you work. And so if you look at the latest data from the World Finance Forum, when I was there last, that it shows African business, even in the middle of economic crisis, is thriving if it's aligned with anything to do with green sustainability, better energy, cleaner energy. So I think if you can align with those things and give high quality technical services with regards to interacting with the internet of things and devices and programming, that's another thing that Africans are excelling at as well, because Africa's going through a big boom currently with regards to roads being built, more internet connectivity. For instance, there's drone usage in some service and product delivery, so that people that are more rural have access to the same consumer goods, for instance, and services that we do. Anyway, I could go on about this for ages. You know what I'm like, Annie. I do a lot of stuff, and I'm involved in all of this. So I'm going to shut up and let you talk now.
I'm quite happy for you to carry on talking. That is fine. So, Annie, I've just sent you the link to your DM, and also I just posted the link. Now there it is. If we want to join the studio, my friends, copy it. Yeah, from here you have to copy and paste the link into your browser, your StreamYard link. Otherwise, no, just put it in the chat here, and it's in the link. That's how I send it to your DM, and then you can just click on it, and then you'll be in the studio, right? I'd love for Annie to come and it'll be the first time the three of us ever been on stage together, right? I don't think Annie ever been on stage.
No, we have been on stage at Mindfulness Mondays.
Yeah. Let's pull it out.
No, Mindfulness Monday is my space.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But Paulette was on stage with us as well. You are right. She was on stage too, and so was Lucille, and so was Dr. Vivian.
She finds herself funny, Annie. I swear, she finds herself funny. She's laughing at me. Anyway, yeah. Okay, look. There's many things you say there, Nat, for sure, right? I think the issue of tackling our real problems by thinking of solutions, sustainability, you call it, right? I'm hoping I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, it needs to be relevant, doesn't it? Local to it has to be local to your region. Otherwise, it's not necessarily relevant and transferable.
Exactly that. But I think I don't know whether that would take genius thinking. There's some sort of weird way of thinking of stuff where you think, right, if it hasn't been done already, there's two reasons that stuff is not done. Two reasons why Nigeria does not have electricity 24/7. Either it's impossible, hence no one's done it, or it's very, very, very difficult. Right.
I think it's the latter, Annie, and it's not necessarily Africa's. It's not a failure on Africa's part. It all plays into the global scheme of things without judging or throwing names around.
Yeah, no, look, when I say, I think I am being, what's it, facetious. That's the word I tend to use. I'm just being my funny self, right? I don't think anything is impossible. And I don't think anything is that hard. If like you're saying that, we can create sustainable solutions nearer to us that will help our communities. We really can, right? And
Well, yes. I've been helping people in Africa and around the world set up businesses with what they thought nothing. They thought they had nothing. And by working with me, they actually realised, oh, actually, we have a lot. And
yes,
they've been
yes,
able to start businesses from like zero, basically. And it didn't cost them anything more than what they already had
I
in their
agree.
vicinity and in their mind.
This is the point I'm trying to make, but you say it better than I do. Joseph, yeah, I see your point. Look, everything can affect us, but in the end, as Natalie just said, nothing affects us. If we put our mind to it, we can start. We have to start. I have sent you the link, Christiana, Annie. I had a vision of you being on stage and us having a party, right? She just sent a DM. No, so that's a no. All right, it's fine. Look, I don't think we can afford to let things, our environment, this delusion we tell ourselves about. I need more money to affect us, and these things matter if you let them matter. Whereas if you start, then you'll find a way. There are successful Africans every day of the week, right? Really. And that they are in the same environment. I grew up in Nigeria, in the same environment as other Nigerians do. Yes, I got lucky. I was ferried away to the UK, maybe at the right age. Would I be a different person if I was in Nigeria now? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I would. But look at other people. Now, look at Zion. Now, look at Tobaloba. And I say they're not rich now, but they are mentally and maybe, when it comes to being personal brands, people that are liked, trusted, and people that have a mission, people that are serving people. They have a start. We can all make a start. The things we need will come our way in good time. I think we have to make that start. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble. So now let's talk about this LinkedIn thing, this 360 brew. Have you experienced it? I'm sure you have.
Elaborate, please.
The LinkedIn has fundamentally changed how they do LinkedIn. So before, say you posted, you boot up your connections. You do a post, your connections see your post. And especially those who ring your bell will see your post, right? Let's say LinkedIn was better as better than other platforms. Instagram, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, they've been restricting who sees your posts, right? Whereas LinkedIn was always if they're connected to you, we'll share them on your posts. Now they're like, no, relevance. It's all about relevance, right? So when they show your post to the people who are really interested in what you do, it means our visibility has gone down, the engagement on people's posts has gone down, and people are up in arms. That's pretty much
Okay. I have been seeing some stuff. I know that one of our mutual connections was recently impacted because she shared something over her content, and unfortunately it contained a corrupt link, and so they obviously put a hold on her account. So I hear what you're saying. See, as a small fish on LinkedIn, I've already noticed that bias with the algorithm because I don't have a business page. I use my personal page. So I already noticed that bias, Any. I think the key is not to overpost because I think that's what LinkedIn is also not happy with is that some people are posting for the sake of posting. I think it's about ensuring that your content has a purpose, like you say, and there's a legitimate reason for your post. You're not using any cold sales contact, cold sales techniques, and you're not, guilting people into making purchases or donations. I think if you stick to those guidelines, I think generally the algorithm is quite kind to you. And also, if you care and share posts in
Yes.
a mindful, purposeful way, you get invited. Even if you're not a LinkedIn subscriber, you will get invited to LinkedIn subscriber events so that they can give you a taster of what you could have if you become a LinkedIn premium subscriber. So they are offering little freebies to people that do stick to the rules, and also people that are subscribing. If you stick to the rules, you also get more opportunities. And as I mentioned to you recently, because I did something as simple as guard my connections so that nobody can see who my connections are unless they're connected with them too, I've been getting a lot more leads as a result, and I don't even have a service page up.
I like that. I like that. So I know you do a lot. I know you do a lot of, I don't know what to call it. It's not community work necessarily. You do a lot of the back end work, the engagement work with that.
I am a global navigator and liaison, Annie.
that
If you want to shorten it, that probably covers it. And I've got my fingers in all the pies.
Yes, yes, yes. No, so how's that working for you? How one, I suppose, help our friends understand, how do you get there? How do you get to be invited to those things, those panels? I get invited and I tend to ignore them because I'm too busy. Yeah, and I guess I'm never sure what LinkedIn really wants from me, and I'm just soaking that. I'm always soaking about LinkedIn, right?
It's cool, Annie. It's cool. I don't have an inside track by any means. I have got a lot of connections, don't get me wrong, and a lot of connections that people wouldn't think I have. I'm just going by what I've experienced personally and what some of my connections have shared with me. We being philanthropic in a purposeful way, not a greenwashing or whitewashing way.
Mhm.
That's what LinkedIn values. And instead of using authenticity and mindset as a buzzword, they want people to start showing that they're actually living that stuff, not just looking for the next sale, but actually living what they're speaking, because that's what true authenticity looks like. And Microsoft and LinkedIn, that's a part of their values.
I agree. Again, I'm glad you mentioned. Well, you said Microsoft and I Meta as well. And I said Facebook will tell you they want real people, real relationships, except it's Facebook, right? You can't tell. Anyway, but okay, being. I think this thing about being your real self. Show up as who you are, and be that person, because who you are doesn't change day by day. Right? Who you are, and what you want to share, and what you want to give in terms of giving value. It's pretty consistent. So if it'd be the same as you've been for the last God knows how long, right? I'm saying, a lot of people come here to come and sell, which is not a bad thing. You just have to know how to do it properly, how to do it without being salesy, without the cold messages that they, as you said, Nat, without bombarding us with, dodgy links, dodgy offers.
Yeah, and spam. Yes, it's about etiquette. It is
Yes.
important that all of us, no matter where we are in the world, learn the customs and cultures of those that we serve. That's
For sure.
key. If we don't do that, then we're disrespecting ourselves and we're disrespecting those that we serve, because you can't give top quality service if you're not willing to put in the work before you deliver that service.
I agree 100%. You have to give a great service to start. Design a service that is gonna exceed people's expectations. You gotta give it. What's that's what it always says: under promise and over deliver. Look at that. Annie's in the studio. Imagine that. Oh, honestly, I'm in heaven now.
Hello.
All I
Hello,
need,
Annie.
all
Hi,
I,
Anthony.
all I need now is Christiana to come on stage, and then
Oh,
I,
us three together.
I tell
That's
you,
unusual. That's unusual. It took me ages to get on the bloody thing.
well done you, well done you.
Oh,
How are
thank you.
you doing?
I'm okay. I'm like Natalie. I'm still getting over this bloody COVID thing, but obviously I like to support you all. I think talking about LinkedIn as I've tried to listen to, I think LinkedIn has changed a great deal. I think the purpose of LinkedIn has changed dramatically, to be honest. I'm less interested in LinkedIn as a whole because you're losing the precise purpose of LinkedIn. It's becoming like Facebook, you
Mm,
know, and the connections that there seems to be a lot of people bombarding you all the time, and you're trying to support each other, and not everybody will support you, yet you support them. But in my purpose, I think that LinkedIn's a good place, and it's like with most platforms, you've got to have the right connections, you've got to be yourself, and I'm very much myself and very honest as well. But I think when you talk about businesses, that isn't my line. But where I work and my purpose, I know my purpose. And like I said, I'm coming out of my comfort zone, because it's took me so many years to get to where I am now. It hasn't happened overnight. I've resat from 2012 to 2022 all my exams, and I'm still doing it now. And I noticed that people tend to give up too easy, and I'm keeping a job and yet I'm studying, like Natalie, like you. We're all doing our jobs, and we're all studying to get better. But once you do find your purpose, like I found my purpose, but there's such a huge sector in the health and social care, and now I've done what I've wanted to do, and now I'm going to go and do something else, which is a huge leap for me, to be honest, to go into teaching special needs. So I've got that quality, and I'm still learning all that, but it comes down to what I want to do. And if I don't achieve it, that's down to me. It's not down to anybody else. If I fail, I'm happy to fail, but I have to fail knowing that I gave it my best, not that I've just given up. That's how I see my purpose in life. And I'm always honest and genuine and true, as you know I am. I couldn't lie. So I can't be doing with people that are authentic and true to themselves, because that's not me. That's not my life. So yeah, that's what I like to say.
see, no. I have to do this, Annie. Don't hate me. Don't kill me either, right? Because we
What's
can.
that? Go on. Go on, say it. What's that? Oh,
That
a
was
clap.
applause. That's
Oh,
applause,
was it?
Annie.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry, but I can't be any other way. I'm just I always say I'm the imperfect me. I have flaws, but at least I'm honest. At least I'm genuine, and I'm always going to be me, whether I'm perfect or not. But at least I'm genuine, and I always seem to forget that not everybody is like me, and that's where my downfall is, because I've been scammed quite a few times in the last few years. So
Mm,
I think if you're authentic in life, even if you've got those little rough edges and you're genuine, people can see who you are. It's like people that I know can live two different lives.
thank
I hardly can live one. How can you be two different people in and that's what you find. And I
you.
can't handle that.
It's
I
hard
can't
work.
handle
Those who try and live two different lives, eventually the mask will slip. Eventually, like, their real selves will show
it.
when
Yeah,
they
it's hard. Yeah,
meant to.
definitely.
And so that's
Definitely.
where things go wrong.
Yeah.
There's many things you said there, Annie, which I say let's unpick them. See,
Go on then.
LinkedIn has always been changing, always. So when I joined LinkedIn, 2012. It was a recruitment site. You came on LinkedIn, posted your CV, and just kept banding your CV around, right? You know, so when I came back properly in 2015, I guess I was determined to make it like a social media site. You know, because there were quite a few stuffy people that are like, you can't post that on here. This is LinkedIn. You're like, get stuffed. It's not your platform.
Any. I think that LinkedIn's intention, it wasn't supposed to be social media per se. It's this LinkedIn is supposed to be a global professional networking platform.
Yes.
So it's supposed to stimulate business growth, not to drive sales. That comes after you've created the connections.
Yes. I can see that. You know, so you could.
You see, I don't mind people posting. You know, like even I post things that relate to what my job is or what to my belief is. But I have noticed that I've endorsed a lot of people. I've endorsed loads of people, and not one person has ever endorsed me back. Not that I want it back. I've recommended lots of people. I follow everybody. But not,
I've endorsed you.
no, I
I
didn't say
endorsed
you.
you. No, I know. You said not. You said not one. Just
I
remember
said not every.
some people.
I said not the one. No, hold on a minute. I'm on about the ones that I've endorsed, not you, because you've already endorsed me.
No. I know. I just wanted you to remember some positives as well,
Oh
because it
yeah,
is hard.
definitely. But also,
LinkedIn is the
I
Wild
think
West.
also there's a certain I found, and this is not just me, but I found that if you don't fit in a certain group with these certain people, then you're pushed to one side. And the thing is, if you have an opinion, you're pushed to one side. If you make a suggestion, this has been going on a lot, you're pushed to one side. If you don't fit in that clique, they push you to one side. And that to me is not how you make good connections. And that happens a lot. And I'm quite happy for people to, I'm quite happy. I mean, Natalie's endorsed me because we've worked together and we're still going to work together in the future, like me and you, Annie, and everybody else. We're going to work together. But when you take that time to endorse the people that you are connected with, and they don't even give you a bat at you or even look at what you've posted and just view it, I think that's where you think, hold on a minute, why should I take my time endorsing people, recommending people, posting for people, liking it, comment it, when they won't even give you the time of the day because you're not in their clique? So that to me spoils LinkedIn, to be honest, Annie. And I'm not just saying that because I'm not the only one that says it, and I'm not the only one that feels that. You know, it's supposed to be a community, but the communities that are on LinkedIn at the moment, if you don't fit in that community, you've got no chance. And that's not what community is about. We're all supposed to be connecting to help each other. And in my field, I do a lot of helping behind the scenes. So I'm just saying that I think LinkedIn needs to rethink how they want to connect with you, with you as people, and what your intent is. So that's what I feel.
Again, look, there's always going to be little clubs, little groups of people. You know, there's people who, but look, I'm agreeing with you now. There's people who think that we're below them, so they're going to hang out with people who are. There's no other way of saying it. And they're normally white. They're normally older, and they normally waffle a different kind of waffly, boring crap, right? Because they think they're the rich white people on LinkedIn. You know, I could, if you ever wonder who they are, I can direct you to their rooms. You know,
they're not all rich white people, though, Annie.
They're not.
They're not. They're not just. Yeah, they're not just rich people, white people that are segregating themselves to the. I don't believe in color coding, but it's true. You know, and there's people that have been on stage that have been quite offensive at some of the events to people, you know, like the other one before, you know, and there's no need to be offensive about anybody's religion or anybody's status or even anybody who is British or Irish or English or American, and have a dig at them, because I found that quite. I was very annoyed at that them digs about us British, and I had to go off before I said something I wish I hadn't said, because I think it was. I mean, then you look at the person who was saying it, and you think, have you seen what your eye can see? You know, and the thing is, I'm not a bitchy person, because the event after, they look worse than I do, and I'm full of flu.
Yeah, no, so they again, there's a lesson there. No, there's no need to respond. You
I
know,
won't respond. I just went. I don't. That's what I'm saying. There's no need to make a
yeah,
personal dig at somebody. And
and
that to me was below the belt. Some of them comments that were made against the British, you know,
uh,
and I had to go off because if I'd have carried on, I would have come up and marked the floor with her because I think it's just not need. It's just not needed to be so personal about people. We're not personal. You know, I'm not ugly. I'm not. I don't wear makeup. I don't wear horrible clothes. I dress for myself, and the one thing I don't need is people's approval. I don't
mm,
need attention, and I certainly don't need applause because I'm just me, and I'll say it how it is. And if you don't like it, you'll have to lump it. But at least I'm true.
you don't need the applause, but you know, every so often you deserve the applause that you get. Look, I think in 2026, my friends. So
Hmm.
what I've learned is that we can build our community. Now, I don't need to be in those funny places where I'm not wanted. I agree. I don't need to hang around with people who are pretending to be people who, you know, it's a frustration on one hand, but you know, I've learned to just let it go. I think, you know, we'll build our own community on LinkedIn. You know,
Hmm.
whatever that means to you, you know, make, you know, but this comes down to where we started the conversation, which is make real friends. You know, be
Yeah,
yourself,
exactly.
make real friends. You know, the more friends you have, the more LinkedIn will work for you. Full stop. You know, the more people, the
Definitely.
friends will engage with your posts. Your friends will ring your bell. Your friends, they'll return the favor, as you just said, and you know, say they reciprocate. That's the
I
word.
also think it's about accountability as well, though, Annie. I think accountability is very important to all of us, even though not all of us like to be accountable.
Mm.
Hey, if I'm wrong, I'll tell you first, love. I'll hold
Yeah.
my hands up. Yeah, definitely. I'm not scared of saying, "Hey, up, I've said something wrong. I've done something wrong." But I will not. I will not back down when I know I'm right. And the thing is, I'm quite happy to be criticised for being the honest person I am, because I often am. But you know what? We both all grew up the same way. We all grew up in care. And the one thing they taught us was the thing they couldn't take away from us was if you told the truth, you had dignity, you had values, you had purpose. They can't take that away from you. They could take anything away from you, but you will not get me to lie down and lie. You know, I'm not perfect, but I will not lie down. And I don't lie, so I don't expect people to lie to me. And I don't treat people, people often treat me, even on LinkedIn. You know,
Mm.
and at the end of the day, I'm there to help everybody, but I won't sugarcoat it. I won't sugarcoat it. If I'm wrong, I will say, Eddie, I'm sorry, I wasn't in the right frame of mind, or I shouldn't have said this. But when I speak up, people know that when I speak up, I've sat back and listened long enough, and I'll have my say. I don't have my say straight away. I sit
Yeah.
and think about it, sift through it, and I think, now, have I overreacted, or did I take it personally? No, I didn't take it personally. I just think that some of the things that was said at that event was bang out of order, you know.
You know,
And I've,
look,
I've actually I've voiced my opinion now, and I feel better for it because I don't just say my opinion. I think about things. I'm a thinker, and then I
you see,
sieve.
you see, people like me, you know, we deliberately prod people. It's called, you know, we want to trigger people, Annie. You know, these conversations happen when we
If you
trigger.
want to trigger me, Annie, tell a lie, albeit not. Don't. If you want to know my triggers, or if you're not honest with me, if you lie to me, if you do things that are deceitful, that triggers me because I don't believe in them.
Hmm.
I
No,
cannot stamp. I cannot stamp over people to get what I want, and I can't abuse and use people. So if you want to trigger me, do those things. And once I've done, I don't make a announcement. I just walk away. I'm silent. I'll go silent, and then once I'm silent, I'm done.
that's it. Like, you go ghost. No, understandable. Look, no, there are a couple of things I want to pick up on. You know,
Yeah.
I say Joseph says, Annie, you know, usually people really want to achieve their goals. I don't. Do you believe that? I don't think. I don't think they do. I don't think they think
No,
they
they
think.
don't. Actually, no, they don't. To be honest, Joseph, because
They don't. They don't.
they don't, because you're saying they don't because, Joseph, if they really wanted, look how long it's took me to re-qualify and do more from 2012 to 2023 and do a job, and then I do more qualifications every single year, and I've got to do those qualifications to achieve what my job is. and to do what I need to do. And I'm stepping out my comfort zone. And now I'm doing the counselling plus the behaviour things. Now these are all out of my context, Joseph. So if I fail, I'm happy to fail trying. But if they are achievable, and if you can't achieve them, don't go for them. It's as simple as that.
No, I said everything's achievable if you're willing to
It's
put
in
the effort.
your grasp. It's in
It-
your grasp.
So
Yeah,
would you agree that we all need to work more on our change management and expectation management then
yeah.
in regards to
Definitely,
that
Natalie.
context?
Yeah, definitely. Because if we set ourselves a goal little by little, like you and me and everybody else, we all set little goals first. And once you get that goal, think, right, I can go a bit further. I never dreamt I'd be with all the qualifications my profile shows now, but look how long it's took me.
Mm.
And I failed. I failed my exams 3 times. I failed them 3 times, but I've
We
still
all
gone
do.
back and redid them.
We all do. We'll fail. It's a chance to learn. Well, I'm sure we've all had this before, right?
Oh God, failure is awful. It knocks you in the face, but it makes you stronger. Failing, it makes you more determined.
It really does. But no, I think the point is that we have to do, to learn. We have to do to be, we have to take that risk, right? We have to be willing to go for it.
Yeah.
There we go. That's my perfect heaven. Hello, Miss Christiana. How are you?
Annie, it has been a journey to get on this. Hello, how are you?
What's playing up now? LinkedIn, the link, or is it StreamYard that's playing up for you?
So it's Facebook.
Oh, oh. Anyway,
for some reason, when I click on the link to join the studio, before I could just click on the link and join the studio and type in my details. Now,
oh God, it took me ages.
It tells me I have to go via YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah, that's what it told me, Christiana.
Have I had to resurrect my account that I haven't used for God knows how long? Forgot the password. Had to do the password twice.
I've reset mine to join. I've had to reset mine to join.
There's something in all of that, my friend.
What is going on? I just don't understand
right.
it.
I think the internet is controlled by. Now you hear people say there's dark forces controlling the internet, right? And somewhere or another, the internet locked off sometime in December. I don't know which phone that is, right? Okay. So the internet just suddenly went down in December, right? Something called Cloudflare suddenly came into effect, and that seemed to have gone down. It means nothing to any of us, right? But essentially, Cloudflare controls everything, apparently. And
I need to pull myself away from whatever this is. It's not.
Right.
It's not. It's not good for my health.
Hi, Christiana. I did warn everybody about this in my Mindfulness Mondays rooms in 2024, and nobody took me seriously. And now look, it's all unfolding. And what do you think now, Annie?
I agree with you.
It's a good nightmare.
So now, it's clear that everything is controlled by Facebook and YouTube and Google, basically. Are you with me? There's something there why we will have to log back in through one of those two platforms. Part of me thinks
Google.
I think it's a thing about There's a thing about the cookie, third-party cookies going. That's what they're trying to reset. And they're trying to get our ID, our face, our documents, our devices all into one place. So that way, I think this Cloudflare is the one who's doing it for them. Anyway, you're here.
Actually, said it like 2024, or I said.
You did. Yeah, here we are. Yeah. Anyway,
I can't hear you now.
You can't hear us now. Okay, you're breaking up a bit.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, neither do I. Say I might have to. Let me turn Annie's mic off for a second. Okay, well, I can't turn mine off because I can't talk. Okay, it seems better when I mute myself, right? Future attempts at learning, in learning, that's what fail is. I agree with you entirely. Right, so Christiana. Oh no, we've lost her. Okay, it's all right. She'll come back in a second, I'm sure. Right? These things happen. Maybe
Yeah, especially on LinkedIn.
I had to go through Google. I couldn't remember my password to go onto YouTube. I couldn't remember my password, so I had to reset my Google password with my passkey just to get onto here. So I hope you appreciate this, Eddie, my brother.
I
Yeah,
do.
Annie and I are both visually impaired.
Yeah,
And
we
so
are.
it's not set up for us, and it's very easy to accidentally press the wrong thing, get hacked, click the wrong link.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
actually, Natalie, I'm not. We keep falling out over this. I'm okay.
You're visually impaired. You are visually impaired, aren't you? You're visually impaired. That's what I said. I didn't say anything else.
No, I actually am. I'm going to have my cataracts removed soon because I can't see very well. It's taking my vision away. So I have through my diabetes, which I don't tell everybody about any, but I am actually starting to go blind with my vision through the cataracts. So I'm waiting for the operation to have my first one done in the next couple of weeks.
Wow. So there's me thinking, having to wear glasses makes me visually impaired. Again, I think there's a lesson here for everyone, right? Look,
It's actually important we have this conversation because the powers that be can hear us having this conversation, and hopefully it will help them to make the platform more inclusive and accessible for all different abilities.
Yeah, and I said, I remember the audio days. There was translation, there was transcripts of conversation.
I don't like this new way, to be honest, Annie. I like the old way.
Yeah, but you can't have the old way, can you? Yeah, we're here. We're going forward.
Yeah, I know, but I know we've got to move with the times, but you've got to give us the people that like my people I support. They haven't moved with the times. They're struggling to move with the times. So people with disabilities. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about or in general. And with all different disabilities, these new things they haven't even thought about these poor people that have special needs, that have disabilities, because they can't move as fast as we can. Even I'm struggling, and I can still see virtually. So the LinkedIn and all these other platforms haven't thought about. Oh, we need to move with the other people, not just the people that are quote normal or not normal. They haven't thought about people with deafness, with blindness, with learning difficulties, with dyslexia, with processing things. This has all not been considered when they've updated everything.
No, again, I think for us as businesses, this has always been an issue for me, right? How do we cater for everyone? How do we become truly inclusive? Because
Annie, there's a lot of business people that are autistic, that have dyslexia, but even they are struggling with the new. I know quite a few people that own the businesses with dyslexia and with autism, and they found this new system hard, but they're having to learn it like we all have to. I'm just saying that when people develop these new platforms and different ways, they have to remember there's not just people who are capable of doing it. There's some people that aren't capable of just upgrading that quickly.
I think that feeds into what Annie was asking about what it takes to get to where you need to as an African business. And I also think that we can start as professionals and small business holders and larger business holders by actually including people with impairments, disabilities, and that live with chronic illnesses, because we're not useless. I'm far from useless. My body is having a hard time. My brain is very capable of helping people find solutions and find compromises and resolutions to their challenges. And that's how I make my bread and butter.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's a lot of African people, and like you say, people in rural areas, they're already struggling because they don't have access to the kind of resources that everybody else does. And so I think it starts with our communities that we live within. If there is a disabled neighbour that perhaps has got multiple sensory impairments, you know, so they might be blind and deaf, what are they good at? Can it feed into what you're doing as a business? Could it feed into an initiative that you've had an idea about?
It's
Because
inclusion.
you need to start at home. If you can't walk the walk, you shouldn't be talking the talk.
I agree.
I like that. Like, the truth is, you know, again, I know for a fact that I grew up in Nigeria that there's people with disabilities in Africa. Look, there's many of them. Probably this is the same rate as here. You know, it may be a bit different, but essentially, you know, and Africa doesn't cater for disabilities. You know, they just don't,
No.
because they haven't got.
When I was in Nigeria, and I was in a hotel, I went to visit some friends in Nigeria. And even in the hotel, there was no hot water. There was no electricity or power. There was constant power cut, and I was paying, but I didn't mind because obviously I can rough it. But I'm just saying that even in their them areas, that even with nice hotels, they don't have what we have, you know, and you're having to show them because they automatically think like we are, that we're rich people over here. Oh, we're not British. When you tell them that you're British and you're not rich, they're like, really? Yeah, definitely. You know, but we're lucky. We're lucky because we can help as much as we can in every country. You know, but at the end of the day, the basic needs for every country should be met. You know.
So that's the bigger conversation around governance and all that stuff.
It is. Even our own country's shit. So, excuse me. Sorry, it's shit.
I also think African businesses need to know, because a lot of them don't. This is what I've been finding in my journeys every day and night. I'm quite known for my round the clock hours. I get a bit of sleep here and there. African businesses aren't aware if they actually feed into, for instance, the United Nations Global Sustainability Goals. If you like through human rights, environment, social impact, they can get access to funding if they are purposeful and they record their journey and they record their customer's journey, whether it's for service or product, or they record their initiative, their idea, ensuring that they do their due diligence. In other words, they do their homework to check that they've protected their creation, whatever that might be, and that they haven't accidentally copied anybody else's. They can get access. At the moment, there's grants going for £50,000 and more for small businesses in Africa. So you need to record, you need to document stuff, not just digital, hard copy, not just hard copy, cloud, not just cloud, an exterior hard drive.
Yeah,
You need to make sure you document everything, and you need to make sure that you keep building your soft skills across different global cultures, because we're not all the same. I'm British, but I'm multicultural. I'm not English. I speak English though. Annie's English and British. Annie is British and Nigerian. So we're all different, basically, and we've all got different preferences.
I've got Irish in me too.
Exactly. Yeah. So do you see what I'm saying? We're all different, and there's certain customs that we're all required to. So we have to put the work in. If we don't put the work in, why are we doing this in the first place?
It's true. Look, let's just summarize what the points we made so far. Inclusion was the last one we talked about, right? And you're saying, I think going for the SDGs, for example, talk to Natalie if that interests you. If you want to get some of that money that's available, you know. But essentially, you know, we have to think big. Think of real solutions.
Think outside the box.
Yeah, that's what SDGs will fund, right? Then do more. You know, so beyond that, we have to be genuinely authentic ourselves. Think of people we're here to serve. That's how you build a business in 2026. Same as in 2025, by the way.
You have to be trustworthy as well and honest.
Yeah, and also we need to explore AI and test AI, but we also need to rely on our own skills
Hold on. AI.
because
Oh, Christiana's back. Okay.
yeah,
I think
yes, any AI,
Let's
because a lot of people are using AI, and it's
yeah.
important that we all conduct ourselves in a safe, inclusive, and accessible way
Let's bring Christiana.
without letting AI take over the jobs that we're doing.
Hold on.
Yeah, you see, I'm not a big AI fan, and I'm honest about that.
Hold on.
I think we rely on technology too much, and I always believe the human touch will always outdo a computer. That's my
Yeah,
view, because
I agree with
probably
you. See,
because it's the field I'm in. I think we're like. I mean, once the world crashes, look what happens when we have a cyber attack. So I think AI is good in some things, but it's opened a lot of badness into the world as well. But I still go for the human touch. I still believe in using my own touches and writing my own thing.
yeah,
So
yeah. See,
yeah, AI is
I
good.
agree. There's nothing that can replicate human
No,
creativity and innovation. Nothing.
no, definitely not.
right. Okay. So hopefully we're agreeing. AI is definitely a thing. It's here. Yes, we have to use it, and it can give us the advantage. Is the best way I can put it. But we need to have the skills, the underlying knowledge and skills, actually, and the creativity.
Definitely.
To
Yeah,
actually make.
feeds into that accountability and continued personal and professional development, any that we mentioned earlier.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. I agree. Look, let's talk to Christiana again. Whether she wants to talk about AI and amongst the things that she wants to tell us. But Christiana, you're back.
I am back indeed. Happy New Year once again.
Yes.
I
Now,
got so long.
what's working for you? Like Christiana is Christiana, right? So you know who she is with her.
Oh, here we go. It started again. This thing will not leave me alone. Um,
It's following you.
I don't know what it is. Let me just. Hello, can you hear me?
That's
Hello.
better. Hi,
Yeah, you can
Christiana.
hear
That's a
you.
lot better. I can hear better now. Thank
It's
you.
a lot better. Can you hear me? Okay. So what's happening? Do you know? I do agree. I kind of came in the conversation about AI. So I'm going to begin with AI. If I remember correctly, we had Paulette. Paulette spoke about um, AI and computers before Christmas on the subject of robots and having robots for companionship. And to me, that is a kind of AI because AI has to operate those robots anyway. I think like anything that is created and put out there, whether innovatively or otherwise, in the public domain for people to use or have users, you're always going to have positives and negatives out of it. Okay. Now, I'll be honest, I was not a huge fan of the internet. I was not a huge fan of social media until the pandemic happened. And I suddenly thought, oh my goodness, I've got to jump on social media and onto online before I get forgotten and become a fossil. become a fossil, right? So with AI, there are good aspects of AI. I can say this from somebody who really is in a position to influence young people and seeing how young people, students, use AI and the risk that it is. Okay. But I can also speak of somebody who also is a business person and how the tools have helped me to really understand the online space and what that means. The only thing I would say is we have got to be careful how we use AI and how we use AI, number one. Number two, what that does, because we are ultimately AI is created by humans and humans program it, and we're responsible for what we put out there. We cannot say AI is responsible. We are responsible because we are the humans that program these things. And so when we are setting up AI, we have to be mindful of what it is we're asking this machine to do. because let's not forget it has the power to reject commands that we give it and create its own identity, which for me is a scary part. And this is something that they're not telling people about. We've not really been open about this, so that is my take on AI.
Hold on. A quick question on that, and maybe I don't know if you all want to have a go, right?
Yeah.
Too many posts these days are done by AI, and you can tell they're all
The
the same.
spelling's terrible.
They're all,
Yeah.
no, but
I
they
think that
know.
AI used intentionally in a purposeful way can be a good
Absolutely.
thing. As
Yeah.
someone that's visually impaired,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my mind's eye. I visualize a lot of things, and unfortunately, because as Annie knows, because she's physically met me and Annie, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have full control over the right side of my body. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't draw or sketch as well as I used to be able to. And where I'm losing my vision,
Mm-hmm.
it started at my peripheral vision. So that's how my blindness is beginning.
Mm.
So I'm starting to get tunnel vision, yes. So AI helps me to create images to, I guess, to enhance anything that I write. Because sometimes people will scroll by, but an image can get their attention if your text hasn't. And I try to post things that are about community, mindfulness, health, sustainability, and things that can be useful to people to put into practice. So that's how I use AI personally, but I don't always use AI to create my imagery. Sometimes I create it myself on Canva on good days when I can see with the different bits and pieces they give you.
You see, AI for video, for images, I can understand. I think AI for every post is a bit of a problem for me because all the posts look the same. There's nothing about you in the post. It's bland, it's boring. I say now people need to get to the. I think tell your stories is my point on this in here, right? Tell your stories. Just tell us what happened. Tell us your point. Don't use AI because we know as soon as we see is AI, I think I lose all interest. I lose the will to live half the time. Literally, I'm like, whatever. Because I know
Makes
you.
you lazy.
Yeah, I know you haven't written. I know it's not you. You just copy and pasted it from what ChatGPT told you to put up. Don't I say in this year? Don't do that. Just tell your stories. So you can
It's
spend.
like, for example, I'll give you an example at work.
Oh, no,
We
no.
have an app where we have to do our notes, write day notes, and there is a little box that, and I write my own notes, but there's a little box that you can press that can rewrite your notes for you and put it in a better context. Well, I won't use that box. A lot of my colleagues will, so it looks better. But I would prefer to write it in my own words than have an AI correct what I'm trying to say. So I won't use that, and it's all for show.
That's what
But
I'm
at the
saying.
end of the day, reading their notes compared to mine, my notes are more thorough, and you can tell that it's been wrote by example a robot because there's
I
no
agree,
feeling in
Annie.
it.
There is very, very limited cases for AI across health and social care. And we are still exploring those things. And that's another way that I use AI. As you know, I'm
Yeah.
involved in global research and development. And that's why I said it's important that you keep up to date. If you want to interact with it, you should do some personal and professional development so that you can interact with it. And post it on LinkedIn. That helps build your credibility, and it helps show people that you're working on your personal professional development if you are an African professional, or you're an African conglomerate, or whatever you are. And that will help you to drive your business goals forwards, because when we see that you're investing in yourself and you're investing in your business in a mindful way, that gives us as possible clients a lot more confidence to approach you as fellow professionals.
Agree.
See, I'm quite happy to move with the times, but I'm not a fan of AI because I've seen the other side of AI as well, and and what detriment it can make. But at the end of the day, I will never use AI unless I have to use AI, and I don't think it. I think when it's needed, like for you, Natalie, that's different. But some people are just using it because they can't be asked to do the work. Oh, AI will do it for me. Well, that to me is just being pure lazy.
I agree 100%.
Necessity in quantity.
Necessity.
Needed.
I can't design pictures.
And also context.
Yes,
context is important. There is another way I use AI as well. Annie will tell you, and Annie can tell you, my brain is a very busy brain. So AI helps me to compile my thoughts so that I can remember to catch up on different things with people, so that I'm always, no matter what I'm doing, even if I'm ill, I'm always moving forwards. Plans are always progressing, because I like to be very positive and productive, as you and Annie know. And
yeah,
Christiana might be starting to learn.
I said, no, we all have to use AI. We not, there's no way around it. This is AI. And our LinkedIn all live is AI. Otherwise, we can't talk.
Use it if it's a necessity. That's what I'm saying. But a lot of it is just laziness.
Yes, it's
Like
laziness.
I'll just give you my work example. When you look at my notes that I wrote for the person, and you look at what the notes that somebody else has used the AI for, it's like talking like a robot. There's no, I'm not talking about emotion, but there's nothing there that's like, it's just like, yes, I can do this. Yes, he did this. Yes, it's not thorough. It just breaks it down into like a computer talk. And that is not how we talk.
I agree. Miss Ijoma, welcome. Glad you're here. So we're about to get on our way, so I'd love to hear more from Christiana. So Yolanda asks, do we all have a way to contact one another in the event of no power? Ooh.
I'm sorry, Yolandi. I'll come off the stage and I'll come get in the chat. I do apologise. I think everybody's got used to me being in the comments, Annie.
No, you're fine. I think Yolanda's asking, if there's no power, can we connect in this day and age? I think we can. Mobile is if you got battery in if you got no battery in your no power in your battery in your mobile.
Go knock on the door if you're not far away.
I would say develop connections, tangible connections.
And
try not to prioritise the sale. Prioritise getting to know the person and then getting to know you.
And then
because that way you can share details that other people don't have.
Take them off LinkedIn.
And that's how you can stay in contact off of LinkedIn.
Take your friends off LinkedIn. I agree on that one. Then I say my best friends are on my WhatsApp. That's I learned that from Tobiloba. Take your friends to WhatsApp. And the Americans have a problem with WhatsApp. They think it's some sort of dodgy platform, saying is the only way to connect.
Keep your phone charged for one.
Right.
Yeah, and there's always batteries, isn't there? My nickname at school was Ever Ready.
Maybe say prioritizing mobile.
Make sure your battery's charged.
Yes, I would add, if you also want to think about your carbon emissions in there as professionals, I would also say clear your caches at least 2 or 3 times a week. You might find in your app folders when you go to your storage that there's megabytes and gigabytes and possibly terabytes, depending on who you are and where you work, of data that is being stored on your devices that isn't supposed to be there, and that deletes your files, your folders, your photos, because the devices that have the operating providers of these devices, they make us sign to agree everything, don't they? So that we can access our phones. When we do that, it gives them permission to store their storage, their data on our phones, our computers, because it helps them to spread out their data and storage costs.
I clean my
So
cache every day.
please check that, because that storage is sitting up. It's on using servers. That data could be years old, and it's taking up. It's raising carbon emissions, which is causing a lot of displacement around the world. And just that little act can make all the difference. And also recycle your mobile phones and give your old phones, if you're just getting rid of it because you want to get a new one, give your old phones to people in the community that are trying to set up their businesses.
Yeah.
So more good gems, from Natalie. So Yolanda says she'll stay here. Yeah, no, you can stay here, but I think we have to go mobile, because we need that was coming from years ago. Mobile.
People don't realise, and I didn't know it to be honest, that until my phone was hacked, that just how much data that is being stolen. So Samsung, actually, when I went into Leeds, and they actually cleared my phone, and there was so many people that had actually, there was 44,000 tracking on my phone, and it was 44,000. That was in one day on my phone. So they showed me how to block it and put security on it. So it just shows you, clearing the cache every day, like Natalie said, keeping it charged, clearing your photographs. You don't need to keep your photographs. Get rid of them, because they're being watched, really. So
I
clear
think
it, get rid of it all.
that's a conversation we're gonna have to have, because
Definitely.
with Africa known as the capital of scams. I want to know what we can do about that. Because
Africa is also the continent that's been the most exploited, and there's a lot of African innovators out there that have lost their intellectual properties because they have been using devices, because they've been attending, say, technology training, so that they can code, so that they can work as engineers. They get these devices, and the thing is, like I said, a lot of these companies, they have their data on your device. And when they're storing it on your device, this is how sometimes the malware can accidentally get in, because it's a weakness, it's a portal to your data.
That's
So
why you should clear it.
it's important, and never click on a link that anyone sends you until you've engaged your VPN.
No.
Right. Yolanda, I get what you're saying. You mean like a blackout. That's why I said the only solution is phones. As Annie says,
I would also say that you can share addresses with people once you've really established a relationship with them. So there's Post still, that does still exist in it.
Yolanda said that I have Annie's address, so we can write. How many of us can still connect with no power, no internet, no social media? The WhatsApp is
exactly. That's why there's Post in it. If there was no internet use, we'd have to go back to what we had before.
Writing a letter.
The yellow pages, the yellow pages. Hardline, landline phone.
Write a letter. Send a postcard. You still sell. If you go to the works, they still sell. Remember those postcards? You could say, not just the ones at the seaside. You could go get a nice card and you could write to each other. Go back to the old fashioned way.
Message in a bottle.
Yeah.
Not in 2026, my friend. This ain't gonna work. Ignore.
You'll have to do the bong 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 on the pan.
Hope it works, right?
Go outside and I'll bag it, and you can bag the other one and see if we can hear each other.
I have a good one.
Go on then.
Pigeon carrier.
That Catch the Pigeon. Remember the cartoon? Catch the Pigeon.
Honestly, that homing pigeon, right? Again, maybe there's a bigger point to Yolanda. I think maybe this.
Yeah, she's making a point. Yolanda is, yeah.
I think
if you've got no power. When I was in Nigeria and I was in the hotel and I've got no power, none at all. I couldn't even charge my phone. I just decided to sit and read. That's all I could do. I took books. So if you've got no power, you've got no phone power, you've got no candles or anything like that. I took battery operated lights. But if you can't communicate, you just have to just wait until you can communicate. You know, if you've got no batteries, no internet, no social media, no electricity, you just have to do the old-fashioned way and sit by candlelight.
You see, but I think for businesses,
I agree. I don't know about the candlelight. That will spoil the light from the stars, wouldn't it?
I think
Yeah,
for
but I'm
businesses,
talking about. Yeah, that's true.
see, for businesses, I think we need to think online and offline. Make this the
Have
year
backup plan.
you have an offline strategy, because everyone relies on the online, and if the online fails, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in your business? You know, you'd be stuck, right? So we need to think, you know, genuinely. You know, what do we do? You know, what's our backup, as you keep saying, Annie? You know, what's our contingency plan? You know, create
Plan
one.
B.
Yeah, create one. No, we'll need to. You know, say there's so much we can say about this topic, Yolanda. And another thing I will say is
Yeah, thank
download.
you, Yolanda. That's a good. That's a good
Learn,
point
so
to
learn
make.
how to,
That's a
learn how to-
fantastic point, Yolandi.
It is.
I agree
It is.
too. And I was being serious about the carrier pigeon, by the way. My neighbour, he has pigeons that are still trained to do that.
I like that. You know, look, there's ways, and we have to put those ways down. That way, we know what to do rather than go into panic mode, right? Look,
Yeah.
my friends, you know, we do need to go. I need to go and buy my goosey soup with my pounded yam from down the road. Yeah, I just figured I'm gonna go and buy that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No,
Once I got on to here, I will definitely come again when I've got a bit more of a voice.
thank you for coming up on stage. You made my day.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening and putting up with us.
Naturally, you know, you're both stars. You know, it's Christiana. I wish you had.
Thank you, Annie. I was just about to mention Christiana. Where did she
Yeah.
go?
She
Her
disappeared.
I
her
keep
phone-
jumping on and on.
Again.
her phone gave
No,
up the-
it's the cross-platform
I know, I'm just
interconnectivity because
joking.
they
I'm just
run
joking.
slightly different algorithms.
Yeah, thank
So
you,
there's-
Christiana, for coming. Well, yeah,
Look,
Yeah, thank you, Christiana, and thank you,
Thank you.
Annie, for hosting
Yeah.
us today and hosting such an interesting topic.
Yeah, thank you, Annie, for listening and having us.
The last I'll say is this to those in the audience, especially, right? You know, for events like this, show up, come on stage and talk. I'm not saying to come on stage and waffle. I'm saying come on stage and share something about our topic, right? And then join the conversation. If you don't join the conversation, you don't get seen as much. You know, now you know who Annie is. Now you know who Natalie is, right? And so,
And I don't have a business, but I can help.
And I said, learn to go on stage.
And Annie is a service deliverer.
Yes, I am.
She helps service providers to deliver care services into the community. She's very learned, she's very experienced, and she is very, very astute. So please do connect with her if you are a genuine, kind, and professional person.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, well said. My friends,
Thank you very much. Same to Natalie and Annie.
You know, I said as much we're going to do 2026. Let's get doing. That's another thing we shared earlier. Let's take action, execute, do. Stop thinking about it. Get doing. You know, either you're going to make it or you're going to make it. So do, right? Look, my friends, do enjoy your night. I'm going to get myself some good food, and I'm probably going to have a little nap.
Take care, everybody. Bye bye. See you again soon, Annie.
Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. Achieve success with Global.Media.